Everything you do here, here, or here goes in here and ends up here. Over-applying chemical fertilizer on your lawn leads to chemical runoff in our waterways. Waste that goes into storm drains becomes waste that pollutes our streams. Pet waste left on the ground washes into our water, along with harmful bacteria. Help keep our water healthy and safe. Remember, if it's on the ground, it's in our water.
I don't know. No, Amy and.
Good evening. It is 6 p.m. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting of the City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Saper,
Here.
Councilmember McGrone,
Here.
Councilmember Fitzgerald,
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Here.
Councilmember Clark's absent, Councilmember Salinas,
Here.
Councilmember Click is absent, Councilmember Bailey.
All right. The Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be led by Councilmember Saper. All right. Item 4, approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Item passes. All right, item 5, comments from the public. If you are a member of the public wishing to speak tonight, please approach the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and please keep your comment to 5 minutes. Thank you so much. And
Hi, my name is Rita Pierce. I'm here on two behalves, my agency, which is at 2108 Gentry, and as a citizen at 2117 Erie, and I am here to praise and not complain tonight, which is probably a nice thing for all of you to hear. First, I would like to thank the police department. The police department has gotten new coats and jackets, and they gave all of the old ones after they tore all the patches and things off, although I think that the people we're giving them to would probably think that'd be cooler. But we have a surplus of them, so we can distribute them to those who are in need. So I would really like to shout out to the police department for thinking of us and bringing those things to us. Jesse, I'd like to compliment you. I asked to have a meeting with Jesse to talk about various kinds of things, and including something I'll bring up to you in October, and he'll share more information about how I've tightened up the ability to house the homeless this next year. He spent a lot of time with me. I didn't think we'd have a lot of time, and he made a really good suggestion how I can approach our business community and incorporate them to get more involved with our agency, like Mega Kansas City has. So Jesse, thank you very much. Community development, I have complained to them. They have more often than not made things go away. I know that their hands are tied on things, and so I'd just like to say that at least they've always answered the phone and they've been very responsive. So that's all I have to say. Y'all have a good night.
thank you. Further public comments? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Daginger. I live at 2414 Erie Street, and I have the privilege of talking to you tonight about Neighbors Helping Neighbors, which is an idea that Jesse brought out, and a committee was formed, and anyone that wants to join us is more than welcome. But let me read just part of this handout that we'll be passing out thanks to Kim Nakahodo. And it's also, this information is going out in the water bills, and it was in the newsletter. So we really appreciate getting on top of that. This starts off saying, Neighbors Helping Neighbors is committed to fostering a caring and connected community by mobilizing volunteers to provide support, resources, and assistance to individuals and families in time of need. Now, that sounds pretty lofty, but we also go on to say, we're not here to replace professionals or take over family responsibility. We're simply neighbors supporting one another, offering help when and where it's needed most. And so the information that is going out tells people how to get on Facebook and join in the residents of NKC, which is only residents of North Kansas City, as opposed to, what's the other one called?
North Kansas City neighbors.
Thank you, North Kansas City neighbors. It's kind of misleading. But in North Kansas City neighbors, there are people from Smithville. And I don't think that they're going to be too interested in coming down and helping shovel your snow. They might, but on the other hand, residents of North Kansas City are probably more likely to be able to help. Generally, there are a couple of neighborhoods that have text chains, and those are useful for, I've got some extra onions that are going to go bad. Does anybody cook with onions? Or my child is going to be selling bags. If you don't want your child to show up at your door, it's not a forum for so-and-so did this, or, it's not a pity platform. So are there any questions? Okay, well, we're excited to move forward, and we're hoping to help our first, I'm sorry, Tom?
If you have any residents who are interested, how might they reach you?
Well, they're at the bottom of the page, and I am sure that it's at the bottom of all the things that Kim has done. It says nhn_nkc@gmail.com for general questions. So thank you. That was a good question.
Absolutely. And they could also join the the residents of NKC Facebook group
Absolutely.
to submit
Please
requests
join.
for help.
Yeah, and there are some people, I've spoken with just about everybody in the 2 blocks of Erie. I need to go further on because there's a few more houses down. But there are a couple of people that are uncomfortable with asking for help on Facebook, and they don't want to be on a text string. And so I said, that's okay. If you feel uncomfortable, just let me know, and I'll do it. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much. And Carolyn, thank you as well for your work on this. It's been great to see the group kind of grow and come up with ideas on how to help each other. This will be really important as we get into leaf raking season and then further into snow season, having a way to get that help to people. So thank you for that. Further public comments? Yep. Yep. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Okay. If I'm on a different part of the agenda, I don't want to screw this up.
You just blame Rich. That's okay.
Yeah, I'll just put it on him.
There you
Always
go.
do. Jesse, great presentation a couple of months ago at the Breakfast Club also. My name's Tim Dolan. I've got an Edward Jones office a couple blocks from here. Rich said we had an opportunity to come in and tell a little about the business. So a little background very quick. Graduated Mizzou in 81 and moved to North Kansas City working for AT&T over in Rock Creek. Cerner was 1 floor. Now they're gone. I've seen the start and the finish, kind of crazy. I've been at 1903 Swift for 33 years. Our building burned, moved across the street to the other building for a year and a half as they rebuilt ours. Then that building burned. Don't start an office at Corner Armour and Swift. It's kind of crazy over there. I did open the office in 92. I was out knocking on doors, literally going door to door to solicit clients. I found out when Liz Short called the police on me that you were not supposed to go door to door and solicit. And Liz just passed away about a month ago. Liz became a client. Most of that wall became clients over the years. So North Kansas City is very unique. It's like a small town inside of the big city. I mean, I could probably hit a driver 4-iron into downtown Kansas City from here, but it's more like Bedford Falls. I mean, I feel like Jimmy Stewart, and It's a Wonderful Life. I'm looking around the room, and there's clients right here with me. I didn't know they were going to be here, but they're right here with me. And it's very unique. I was able to start the business council, me and David Wells, a couple people, Liz Short. I was the membership chairman, went around, knocked on a bunch of doors of businesses, say, hey, we ought to get together and join. And the relationship, I probably should say partnership with the city, has been very unique over the 33 years I've been here. It's a wonderful relationship and very supportive. The Business Council has been very supportive of the city and vice versa. The city very supportive of all our businesses. So I just find it interesting. Door to door, don't knock on the door of the mayor, the street the mayor lives on. I did learn that. I actually have I have 4 boys, 3 of them, one of them started with me about 4 years ago, one started about a year and a half ago, and one started yesterday. So it's 3 of the 4 boys. The other one sells weed out on 210. Legal. He's the comptroller for one of the weed companies out there, so he'll probably, we just moved all the way from 1903 Swift to 1907 Swift to clients that haven't been there yet. I tell them, if you walk out our road door and walk 14 steps to the right, that's the new door. Now you walk in, you go up the elevator, and I didn't realize I'd worked in a broom closet for 33 years. I've never had a window. Now I'm literally, I could be the Grand Marshal of the Snake Saturday Parade. I mean, I'm at the corner of Main and Main, 3 huge windows. Can't wait for the homecoming parade to come down the street next month. And literally, Jimmy Stewart, it's a wonderful life. That's the life I'm leading. Been in the Rotary Club, for the North Kansas City Rotary Club for 30-something years. Biggerstaff was our president for several years. It's just a really cool vibe to be in North Kansas City. I don't know, my time might be up. I don't have any more, and nothing else to say. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite, and that's it.
Thank you, and hey, appreciate your 33 years in North Kansas City. And if you can hit a 4-iron to downtown Kansas City from here, okay. We need you on the golf team. We're entering some charity tournaments, and that would be useful. Thank you. Further public comments. Right. We got one more. All right. Good evening.
Hey, is this okay? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time. My name is Kyler Wooldridge, and I'm a resident here. I live on 24th Avenue, and I'm also a member of the BPAC committee, which is one of the ad hoc committees for biking, transit, and pedestrian. And I just wanted to talk about transit for a few minutes here. I know that transit's one of the items on our agenda tonight. And I could be mistaken, but I believe it is about like rideshare microtransit, like a model like Gladstone has used. Is that correct?
That's part of it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to comment about that in general. You know, that kind of system, it can be really great, you know, for the kind of person who maybe is older or is disabled and needs that, you know, one ride a month or whatever to the doctor's office. But I just wanted to comment as someone who, I'm a teacher. My wife is in nonprofit work. And so to save money, we just own one car. And I probably use the bus once, twice a week to get to and from work. And I work in the city of Kansas City. And so there's a lot of people, and I just want to kind of point this out, that there's a lot of people who work in our community who don't live here. And there are people who live here who don't work here. And so the system that, you know, Gladstone and other cities have, you know, they provide rides inside the city, but they don't necessarily provide transit to and from the city of Kansas City. And that kind of cuts a lot of people off. You know, when I go ride the bus to or from work, I see a lot of people who work at like our fast food restaurants, who work at some of the warehouses. And, you know, maybe those people could figure out how to use like a rideshare app, or there would be availability to get them to and from work. But I'm kind of skeptical that that would, you know, do that for a lot of those people. We have a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily show up to these meetings, and but they work here in some of our lower paying jobs, and a lot of them need that transit service. And I don't pretend that dealing with the KCATA is fun. I know it's a basket case, and I know that you guys are in a position with that where you're trying to make the best of it. But I just wanted to have that kind of entered in the record and bring that up, because I think a lot of times we forget that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And you've struck at the core of the issues, the fragmentation of the network, and that's something we're going to be talking about tonight. So
Cool.
Thank you for that feedback.
Thank you.
Further public comments? Going once. Okay. Going to move on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? All right. Motion passes. Zipping right along to item 13. Okay. We're going to need to have a motion from the council to open a public hearing.
Motion to open public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Staff report, please.
The council. So every year in September, we receive the valuations for the city from the county clerk, and this year we received those on September 10th. We then take those valuations and submit them to the state, and then they give us our maximum tax levy for the year. We are in a reassessment year, so overall valuation for the city increased by about 16%. However, we are limited in revenue growth to 5-year statewide CPI, which is 2.9% for the last 5 years. With that, because of that, the levy rolls back so that we don't collect more than what the CPI allows us to. So what we have tonight are the annual tax levy decreased by about 4%. Depending on, how much your property or a citizen's property increase, you may pay less than that 2.9% from the increase, or you may pay more. We had a fairly sizable growth in personal property. I was just looking at the numbers that we got from the county. About 3% of the overall valuation comes from the senior resident program. So I don't think there's going to be a large impact from that program, but I just wanted to share that information with you as well as you deliberate.
Thank you. So now we open it for public comments. Do we have any public comments on the tax levy? Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Nick mentioned what I had a concern about, and that was the use of the assessed real estate valuation in setting the taxes. Last year, the state of Missouri passed a rule that said counties could adopt and freeze the real estate taxes for senior citizens 62 and over. I'm sure there's a lot of them in North Kansas City. I'm one of them. I know my valuation went up significantly on my house, but the real estate taxes will hold the same. I noticed in the material supplied there's over $38 million in real estate increase, and I think you need to possibly take a look at that as to how the senior citizen frozen tax rate might affect things. Thank you.
Thank you. Further public comments? Seeing none, we will need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public hearing is closed. City Council discussion. Any questions, thoughts, or concerns from the City Council?
This effectively comes from the county, and we can't change the calculation, right?
Correct. It is a fairly unusual time to see a levy actually go backwards, go 4% down. Granted, those of you who got your real estate reevaluations know that it went up quite a bit more than that percentage. But the net effect is, as Nick pointed out, in the 2% range. Do we have a quantification on the senior tax freeze? Do we know how much that actually impacted, or is it being offset by the rest of us paying more to get to that 2.9 limit?
I'll answer. You had mentioned county. It is state that provides that, but through the county. We work with the county, just for the public. I think, Nick was saying we're estimating 3% kind of hit from the senior tax. But overall, it's still an increase.
So how does that affect? There's the piece that says you can only go up certain 2.9%, and that normalizes. That's why the levy rolls back when the price and the values go up. But we're still hitting that 2.9% despite the senior tax freeze. So that, to me, says the rest of us are going to make up the difference. Is that how it's working out?
So I actually, in looking at the numbers that I got from the county, I am Not necessarily sure of the impact, but again, it's the senior program accounts for about 3%. I'm also including Northgate TIF in those numbers as well. So outside of that, I think it's about actually 2% when you take out the TIF portion. So overall, I would say possibly, but the increase in personal property alone, which is usually like businesses that are buying large pieces of equipment, and that fluctuates significantly every year. I anticipate a lot of our revenue growth is actually going to be coming from that increase. So I think overall there will be a small impact, again, about 2% of the total is the senior, but being that this is the first year that it's been in effect, we'll pay attention to that, and we can, request the information from the county in terms of when we get our receipts, usually starting in November and December.
Sure. I guess stated a different way, the end result of the 2.9% revenue increase would be the same without the senior tax freeze. Correct.
I believe so.
So
yes.
had they not frozen it, we'd still end up at the same revenue number. And since seniors are paying less, the rest of us are paying more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cerner's back on the roll also.
Cerner's back on the tax roll as well.
That's good.
Just for a fun fact, in North Kansas City, 206 parcels exercise their right to go on to the senior tax roll, and 65 of them are in Northgate Village.
Okay. Did Cerner, Oracle, did they go to the state with their appeal? I know they were appealing the property valuation. Did we know where that landed?
We haven't gotten notification of their date yet at the state level.
I mean, they're looking for a substantial reduction in value. If that were to happen, what does that do to this whole calculation?
It shifts the burden.
Back to us?
Yeah. I mean, there's still a cap that's allowed, but yes, it shifts the burden. Or
the rate that you pass tonight, that will be the rate for the year. It's not going to be affected by what happens with
So if
Cerner. So there may be again a revenue hit from that, which will be adjusted in next year's figures. Again, that's just speculation, so we don't know what is going to happen with that. So we can't really factor that in to the total. Again, I actually think you'll see in the next item there's a budget amendment that puts the revenue at when we get the levy number back from the state. They give us an estimate in revenue. When I plugged in our valuation with the new tax rates, I think we'll actually collect a little bit more than that. So it's really kind of we'll see what happens, but the thing that will stay steady is that levy rate for everyone.
Okay.
Sorry.
The only other thing I had, like my big concern with the senior tax freeze originally was funding for schools, because the lion's share of property tax revenue goes to the school districts. It sounds like they're going to get the same amount that they would have otherwise. So, like, that's good. It's just coming from a different pool.
Oh, just to clarify, when I said it'd shift the burden next year.
Right.
If Cerner's successful in lowering their valuation, and next year's levy, it would kind of shift the burden to others if we hit that cap.
Okay. We'll have reps in Jeff City talking about that. Okay, good.
Yes.
Very good. Any other questions from the council? Okay. That will move us on to item 14, fixing the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Fixing the rate of taxation for general, municipal, and for special purposes. Bill number 7936, ordinance number 9734.
Yeah, first reading.
Excuse me. I move that bill number 9734 be placed, is that it?
You just want to go?
Oh, sorry, first reading.
There you go.
What do I know?
There you go.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Whoops. An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for general municipal purposes and for special purposes, and setting the tax levy on taxable property within the limits of the city of North Kansas City, Missouri for the year 2025. And it'll be bill number 7936. I did them backwards by accident.
Okay, I move that bill number 7936 be placed on first reading. Second final reading. And passes ordinance number 9734.
Second.
All in favor? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. No, now we got to call the roll.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember McGrone?
Yeah.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Salinas?
Yes.
An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for general municipal purposes and for special purposes and setting the tax levy on taxable property within the limits of the city of North Kansas City, Missouri for the year 2025.
All right,
Item
item
15.
15.
Fiscal year 2026 budget amendments, resolution number 25-068.
Nick had mentioned, the main impetus of this was adjusting the revenues per the state and the levy. I did add in here, when we budgeted for the minor home repairs, if you'll all remember, with the general fund, we were looking at the deficit and ways to reduce the deficit. So we were looking at historical costs, which 5,000 is right around the historical cost. Minus 3 years ago, there was a larger, but the last 3 years, it's been 0, 0, and 5. However, there are two agencies that, it used to be 40,000, 20,000 to NNI and 20,000 to Rebuilding Kansas City together. I think that's, yeah. So there are two agencies that this fund helps. So along with this amendment for the revenues, we're asking for an additional 5,000 in minor home repairs, just so it's 5,000 for each of the agencies. It's still a reduction quite a bit from last year, but it just 2,500 is not going to go very far with either agency. So that's the additional part of this.
There it goes. So we're going from 40,000 to 10,000 effectively.
Correct.
Over the year.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions, thoughts, or concerns on that one? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 16.
Final plat approval, Northgate Village Retail Center, lots A and B. Bill number, I have 7936, it should be 7937. 7935, ordinance number 9733.
Good evening, Mayor and the City Council members. In front of you is a request for a final plat approval for Northgate Village Retail Center. This is commonly known as the development of Bloom NKC. Currently, you will see 4 mixed-use buildings has already been erected on the lot, and to the north is still vacant. The Lot A consists of new mixed uses with ground-level commercial, second and the third floor townhomes. And the future 2B lot is planned to have a 2-story mixed-use building that staff hope it will be constructed anytime soon. The overall lot is about 2.77 acres. The proposed subdivision will create 2 lots. Lot A is about 1.83 acres. That's where the 4 existing buildings are standing. And the Lot B to the north of it is about 0.94 acres. It's currently vacant. There is underground detention has been finished. In front of you is the Planning Commission's recommendation. The Planning Commission has reviewed this proposal in September and recommend approval. With any questions, I'm open.
Any questions?
Does this have any changes, or does it have any implications to other arrangements between the city and Bloom, or is it just simply we're just chopping it in half and no other?
It's simply just a final plat to split the lot. It has no other impact to the existing master development agreement.
Councilmember Saber.
Any indication as to when they would proceed with this project? It's
So
been
that-
delayed, I know, but
Right.
did they indicate anything at all?
So currently, they still have an active building permit that includes the future building. and they're still within their building frame under the current terms within the agreement. So they haven't been finding default. And so far, staff has been communicated by the developer that they were working diligently to get the finance figured out for the future building. We're hoping this is one of the steps that can help them to recoup that money and moving forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance approving the final plat of Northgate Village Retail Center, lots A and B, North Kansas City, Clay County, Missouri.
I move that bill number 7935 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9733.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember McGrone?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Salinas?
Yes.
An ordinance approving the final plat of Northgate Village Retail Center, lots A and B, North Kansas City, Clay County, Missouri.
Wow, that was much cleaner this time. Very good. All right. Moving on to item 17. Go ahead.
Discussion of public transportation options.
Okay, I'll tackle this one real quick. So this is just kind of an update on Guest, and then what we're also going to be looking at. So the Guest rideshare microtransit system that was mentioned during public comments, Gladstone has signed on. They're about a month into their pilot, and all signs say it's going well. Riverside has severed their KCATA contract and is moving to Guest. Parkville and Liberty are also deep into discussions and seem imminent to be joining Guest as well. And so that leaves us. And we have a sample contract sitting in the agenda packet. So thinking about what this would look like is it's tricky because microtransit, as Kyler mentioned, doesn't solve all the problems, and it may even create some new problems. What this does for us is to, in my view, unlock the Northland to our residents. So it would be, you would be able to get on in a car in any of the cities that are in the Guest network and go from where you are to any part of those cities. With that said, that does block off Kansas City, Missouri, because they are at this point not included in the discussion. So in addition to that, I have reached out to leadership with the KCATA to set up a meeting to discuss what it might look like to continue some level of fixed route transit, but it would have to be at a much reduced cost because right now we're looking at a split somewhere around $800,000 to run the 238 and the 201 for the couple of miles through North Kansas City. With no indication yet what federal or state funding could support that or what return of fares would look like. But as also mentioned, many of the riders who come through on the 201 and the 238 are coming from Kansas City or Gladstone, or from, I guess not Gladstone, but from other places riding in here for work. Also, some people coming from North Kansas City going into downtown. And so the fracturing of the network is something we don't want to see. We've been sort of backed into a corner by the financial approach of the KCATA at this point, and I'm hoping to have some discussions that can break that logjam. We have a meeting on the books for next Monday at 2 p.m. So I'm hopeful that something will come out of that. But at this point, Guest is a viable option as an alternative to at least transit within the Northland. And I would love to hear from council members any thoughts or questions on possibilities. Yes, sir.
Kyler mentioned this, and I've heard, from a handful of other constituents, just the concerns about splitting off from the KCATA. So I'm hopeful, maybe if we can get some cost reduction, there's some opportunity to continue the fixed route. One thing I keep thinking of, especially this being a first-year thing, I know everybody was so excited about Iris, which was not exactly the same, but somewhat similar and went very poorly, for lack of better words. Even if it was keep the fixed routes in place for the first year of this, and use Guest, basically cut the flex route from KCATA, replace that with Guest, and do at least a year of both to make sure it is working as intended. I've heard about $10,000 a month thrown out for Guest, which, if that's accurate, would be much cheaper than the $400 and some thousand dollars the KCATA has quoted us for the flex route. So there's still some major savings with going with an approach like that. It might alleviate some of the connectivity issues.
Yep. 493, I think, was the number that I recall from that sheet just for the flex. So it would be a substantial savings. And even if Guest is a pure replacement for the flex, that also opens up Parkville, Riverside, and Liberty, and Gladstone, that'd be pretty great. Hoping that it works as advertised. Councilmember McGrone?
I second Connor's suggestion. I think we should leave both KCATA and a ride-share program in place at the same time. Iris was talked about in a lot of the same ways that Guest is being talked about now, and it was really a disaster. And I don't want to see us have to scramble at the last minute when hopefully Guest wouldn't be, but if it were a disaster, then we have to go and try to find another solution. So I think the best course of action is to pilot it while we still have a reliable known quantity. My other concern with going with something like Guest exclusively is we don't know anything about them. We don't know really how they operate as a company. We don't know how reliable their service is. We don't know how long, I don't know how long they've been in business. I don't know how long they're going to keep being in business. But I know KCATA, no matter how people feel about it, it's a devil we know. And I prefer to do business sometimes with the one I know than the questionable one without actually giving that questionable one an opportunity to show me that they are good.
Valid concerns, and part of the good part that we have here is Gladstone is first to jump, and they're running this pilot live as we speak, and our contract with the ATA is through the end of the year, so we're going to have at least 3 to 4 months of some market data to see what it looks like.
Didn't Gladstone do Iris before we did?
I think we were first in the Iris pool.
Were we?
KC, yeah, because it was an unmitigated disaster. That,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And even if they have success with it, I'd still be hesitant to sign on with just them.
Oh, sure.
I still think we need to have connectivity to Kansas City.
Yep.
Not just for our residents to get out, but for our workers to come in.
Yep. Councilmember Bailey.
I did just want to point out that buried in here that Gladstone has the ability to take guests anywhere in the Northland, including KCMO, for medical facilities. Now, that doesn't include work and a lot of other uses, but at least for medical facilities, if you have a different hospital, outside of Gladstone, they would take you there.
Yep. Part of it is being able to geo-fence in places that we would allow outside of our jurisdiction. And that can be worked out as a group of cities that contract with guests. Also could be done on an individual basis. Councilmember Alvarez.
Yeah, I was going to ask too, like Councilman McGrone had said, I didn't know if Iris had been tested in any other of our joining cities before. I don't think it had, so I think we were kind of like finding out as we go. But if its Guest is being successful in some of the other cities, I think that's a good sign that maybe, it would work. It's helpful to have another city using them first. And I'm also in favor of keeping the fixed routes, if at all possible, with KCATA. I know a lot of people depend on it to get back and forth to work inside and outside of Kansas City, either going home to Kansas City or going to work in Kansas City. So if possible, I would like to keep that. So I'm not sure how, if it's kind of perplexing if they're losing money. If they don't work with us, then they stand to lose a lot more money. To me, that doesn't make sense, the KCA. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would hope that they would work with us.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Councilmember Safer.
Just for those listening out there, it should be clear that this city is not, and the other cities in Northland are not fracturing transit. It's the KCATA that has fractured transit in the metropolitan area for some 60, 70 years now. And we're doing our best to deal with a very muddled, badly run operation to try to provide some connectivity for our residents and for others who want to come to North Kansas City. So it's a mess. We didn't make it. We're trying to do the best we can to serve the needs with this ungodly mess that we have.
And I've been a pretty vocal critic of the KCATA for a while now, but I can also openly acknowledge it's a really, really tough thing to do to provide public transit to a sprawled out urban area, particularly in the Northland. I mean, it's extremely spread out. We, in North Kansas City, are on that gray area of just tight enough where it could work and dispersed enough where it's difficult. But once you get into Gladstone, out to Parkville and Riverside, I have no idea what that answer would be other than microtransit rideshare. And so that's where, as Northtown, we could do both, and it could feasibly work in both cases. I don't see it working for Parkville. Like, that would be tough to run a fixed route bus to Parkville. So that's kind of where, and they have a very tough thing to do. So heaping all the criticism on them feels good, but it's also like they have a tough job. So hopefully we can work something out. Any further discussion on this one? Hopefully we'll have an update next week. Do you have anything else?
I was just going to add that, as mentioned, we haven't gotten any additional numbers from KCATA. So as we'll wait for that, and then of course from the discussions you've set up, and keep coming back.
Yeah, the dollar part is tough, and the ridership data that just doesn't exist. I've talked with Dylan, who's also here representing the Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Really appreciate the work about using other third-party apps to kind of track some numbers, but it's still at best a guess. And it would be really nice to know how many of our residents are actually using those fixed route buses, because at this point, dollars per ride seems so out of sorts that it's hard to justify, while it also feels bad to look people who are sitting here tonight in the eye and say, we can't put you on a bus to get you to work. And that's the real struggle that I'm having right now, being a good steward of the city's finances and also taking care of our people. So hopefully we'll have a good thing to report.
Just one more question. Are we expecting numbers soon from KCATA, or is that something that's...
I think they were going to provide us, once they had any kind of amount from state or federal to adjust, but as of right now, all we have is the 1.2 and the fares, right? And any adjustment with charging a fare. But
So they haven't determined to bring the fare back for sure yet, or they're still...
They are going to bring it back, but we haven't been provided, though, what adjustment that's going to make to the 1.2 million they originally presented. So yeah, we're waiting on.
And without good ridership data, there's not much to guess on. So
they say that we have a lot of riders, so
that's what I hear.
Should bring it down quite a bit.
That's what I hear. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments on this one? And again, thank you for public comments. It's very helpful. Okay, moving on to item 18.
Discussion of short-term rental regulations during special event periods.
Okay, I am going to sit this one out per the discussion. I will call on people to ask their questions, but I will have no input on this one because I own a number of properties that could be impacted by this.
Do any other council members own a number of properties that could be impacted by this?
I do.
One.
Actually, anyone who owns a home could be impacted by this. So it's, I just have more than most. So I don't want to land in that land where I'm self-enriching by accident. Not that I have any interest in doing this. This seems like a lot.
Can we get some direction from staff is that a conflict of interest in the reading of the...
There he is. Not his item.
Can I get you to say that into the mic for me?
You know, this is more like, think people in Congress or whatever. They vote on Social Security, and they're going to get Social Security. I mean, the bottom line is this is something that's supposed to be across the board throughout your whole community. And my guess is most everyone sitting up there is a homeowner. So how's that going to work? No one will discuss it then? So I don't view this, you know, when you get down and start talking specifics, there may be some specific instances that you should look at, but discussing the concept on what you would like to do, I think is appropriate for each and every member of the governing body.
All right. Speak if you feel led. Go ahead.
All right. I would say I totally agree with Tom. And in front of you, this is not really a discussion for a code amendment yet. So this is really just a broader discussion to have a little bit temperature check, see where we're at right now and where we're heading to. Mostly staff just want some directions over there. And I'll give you all a little background of this particular regulation that's in place right now. It has been adopted about 2 years ago. And since then, we have gone through a learning curve with staff and, of course, enforcement-wise as well. And we also are actively involved in the regional discussion for short-term rental and learning from Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, Overland Park, Lee Summit, and, of course, all the cities in Northland, wondering what other municipalities are doing, what this region is like. So up to today, as far as I could generally tell, about half of the municipalities in our metro area, for both Missouri and the Kansas side together, about half of them have adopted some sort of ordinance, regulations regarding short-term rental. And for short-term rental, there's usually a definition that is less than 30 consecutive days rental of a residential property. So it's not lodging, not hotel. Those are commercial properties in general. And it is not long-term rentals like monthly or yearly rentals. Those are what we call landlord registration programs for long-term rentals. So for short-term rental, we have laid out quite a few requirements about what can be allowed, where can it be allowed regarding to a zoning district, and all the registration process, the fees, inspections, and all that requirements. And so far, I have to say that we don't see an issue for short-term rental in our city. We don't believe we have an out-of-control amount of short-term rental here, maybe occasionally one or two over here or there. And they're getting a little smarter and savvier. That's kind of hard to track where exactly the address is. And we continue looking into those enforcement overall. But this one is a little unique. It really is just a 1-month event that we do anticipate because of 6 World Cup matches that's going to occur in this metro. And we do think we're going to see a flux of visitors, players, coaches. At the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, they're all going to lay their head somewhere. So with the location of North Kansas City, we believe we will see some needs and market for this particular uses. However, staff has expressed it is really difficult for us to enforce in general because it's just 1 month. By the time when staff goes out there, get a call, and investigate it, issue a notification, and giving them about 2 weeks for correcting it and documenting it, fine them, and bring them to court, they're probably already gone. So with all that said, we also wanted to encourage the homeowners to go through the process and get staff inspect those potential dwelling units for any potential improvements that can properly address the minimum code requirement regarding life and safety. With all of that being expressed to Planning Commission, they had a lengthy discussion, I would say, pretty thorough overall. And there are some highlights that put it in the memo. A few of them I will just mention here, and then we'll open up the discussion between council members, and I would love to see some directions afterwards. So one of the things the Planning Commission stated is that they generally believes the current ordinance for regulating short-term rental is good. There's no need to amend it, no need to suspend it, like what Parkview did. They also expressed that they understand enforcement-wise this is difficult. It is just for 1 month. They don't believe it will generate any huge troubles over here. And they also stated that if there is anything, they wanted to encourage owners to register with the city staff and go through the inspection process. And then the Planning Commission also said, let's defer this to City Council for further discussion. So here we are. And I just want to mention one more thing, that the staff did restated that if there is anything related to life safety, we'll work with fire, we'll work with police, and we'll enforce those right away as we typically would do. So with that, now it's your turn.
Thank you. Councilmember McGrone.
So I was part of the Planning Commission when we enacted this ordinance. And we had a big discussion. There were thoughts on both sides of this. Do we create an ordinance at all? Do we make something pretty restrictive? In the end, we came up with a fairly restrictive ordinance that was unanimously approved by council. I don't think we should change it. I don't think we should amend it. And I certainly don't think we should do this for any kind of special event. I feel like that's a really slippery slope. If we do this for this event, then all sorts of events could become special events. We could start doing it on Snake Saturday, or if we get a stadium over there, every game day could be a special event. I mean, it just opens the door for that whole ordinance to crumble. And I personally don't want that. I know my neighbors don't want that. I know the people that I talk to in North Kansas City who live in our neighborhoods don't want that. I would be in favor if people want to operate an STR out of their primary residence, as they can do right now, encouraging people to set up that in advance so that they are prepared to do that during the World Cup. But I don't think we should change anything that we currently have in place because we want to potentially capitalize on a short-term rental business. We've got 2 brand new great hotels over there. We've got other hotels that are operating in town. We have the ability for people to rent out rooms in their own house if they would like to do so as short-term rentals. I think that's pretty much the extent to that I would be in support of.
Councilmember Fitzgerald.
I guess I'm the current council liaison to the Planning Commission, and I think I just kind of generally echo Councilperson McGrone's comments. I remember when we went through this short-term rental code stuff the first time, heard a lot of feedback from residents and neighbors concerned about a potential, I'll call it like a nuisance hazard of having short-term guests next to you, especially in the avenues, how close the houses are together. Got some negative impacts. There's also, as a community development has mentioned, some life and safety issues. We have a process in place right now that residents wishing to set up a short-term rental can go through, follow all those guidelines, minimize the impact on the neighborhoods, and help keep things safe. I don't see any reason to change this for a 1-month thing. I've heard our hotels in town right now are hurting, so this might be a good opportunity to do what we can to push potential World Cup guests to those hotels and not be in our neighborhoods impacting the residents.
Councilmember Alvarez.
I'd just like to say I would completely agree with both Councilmember McGrone and Fitzgerald. I don't think the neighbors that I have talked to were not interested in having this type of thing set up for in the neighborhoods, having a house next to them that people could rent out. They were not in favor of it. I think it'd be hard, like she said, it'd be hard to enforce. I think by the time, maybe if you recognize there was a problem, by the time you address it, and then maybe that person that rented it is gone, and then you have another person come in or another group come in. Not trying to stereotype, but I think the people that are coming in for the World Cup, it's not necessarily like, say, the small family coming in, maybe taking a trip to the zoo or something. This is more of a party atmosphere, and I think you're going to attract that kind of guest list, people coming in. I think it's hard to, when that month would be over, to make sure that it ended at that 1 month and not maybe continued without having to really watch each house or trying to monitor it. I think that would be hard to do. So I'm not in favor of changing anything either.
Further thoughts, questions, or comments? Councilmember Bailey.
I think we might be missing an opportunity to try to really push the inspections of getting into some of these houses and looking through them and bringing them up to where we want them to be. It seems very clear that there's a strong opinion against that. Candidly, I think some people will recognize this as, they'll skip short-term rental and just go to midterm rental, which at 30 days they can do per current code. So I think we missed the opportunity to get in and have some of the inspections going this route, but that seems to be a consensus.
No thoughts?
I simply agree with what's been said. I mean, we don't have a problem that we need to go looking for a solution for. We've got a decent ordinance that seems to protect the residents around these facilities and also gives an opportunity for inspections, health and safety. All that is to the good. And there's no reason to change something that's working.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Sorry, I have one more thing. She did mention the hotels that we have in the area. I think that's a great place. I know that they were kind of hurting for occupancy or whatever. It's a great time. I've heard that places are booked up really, really fast, way ahead of time. We do have some nice hotels. We have Harrah's. I think that's where these guests belong, not as my next door neighbor or the same.
Any further thoughts? Councilmember Bailey.
We're expected to have, last I heard was 2 million visitor days. Our hotels are going to be slammed packed, so tight, like they're going to be full. They will have their business at least during the World Cup.
Councilmember McGrone.
I don't think it is our job to provide hotels without front desks in our neighborhoods because we're going to have a special event in Kansas City. There are plenty of hotels in Kansas City. Hotels. People can stay in a hotel or they can go rent an Airbnb somewhere else. But we have an ordinance in our town for a reason because the people who live here, for the most part, don't want Airbnbs operating next door to their houses. So just because there's going to be an influx of people, we should not change the way that we have decided to move forward with Airbnb regulation in Northtown.
Do we have the guidance you were looking for?
I think I got it. You all understand enforcement while almost being impractical, right? We will send out some campaign trying to see if we can encourage the homeowners who wish to run Airbnb to go through the process, register, go through the inspection part, see if we can improve our current housing inventories and get them up to grade to codes as much as possible. Those points are well taken, totally understand. And also, meanwhile, we'll look into still life safety issues. If we have to enforce, we will enforce. And I guess that's all the directions I generally get. And maybe after the event, we'll do a follow-up, make sure that there's no Airbnb lingering around in this community before we change any of the ordinance. Am I getting that summarized correctly? All right. Well, thank you all.
All right. Oh, Councilmember Salinas.
Just as curious on the fee. What's the fee like?
Say it again.
The fee? You said there was a fee?
Yes, there is a permit fee. Actually, the ordinance is attached to the memo over there. The registration fee is $200. And it's good for a year. It's mostly trying to cover the inspection part and the processing component for the paperwork.
Yep. It's, I believe, $200, and then there's a pretty lengthy inspection for the unit for it to be rented, upsizing fire extinguishers, connecting smoke detectors, that sort of thing. All right, moving on to item 19.
Consideration of fiscal year 2026 insurance recommendations.
Mike?
All right, Mayor, members of the council, our current general liability and property insurance renews every year, October 1. This year, our broker, Hub International, went and got quotes from 4 different companies, or attempted to from 4 companies. They got them from 2 companies. The first is our current provider, Travelers, also Midwest Public Risk, which is a public entity pool versus a private insurance company. And then they also attempted to get a quote from EMC, which handles both private and public. And then Zurich was the other. EMC declined to bid due to our close proximity to Kansas City, being a neighbor, basically. Zurich declined to bid overall. However, they did obtain quotes from both Travelers and NPR. Oh,
you're good.
Okay.
Proceed.
All right. So in meeting last Thursday, Crystal and I met with Hub to review the quotes they received. NPR was better on premium, a better cost. Their deductibles differ a little bit, but overall, in discussion with Hub, they're comparable. So in reviewing everything, and we're recommending that we go with NPR. I can tell you a little bit about them. Like I said, they are a public entity risk pool. This is just for liability and property. They also offer work comp and
cyber.
No,
cyber.
sorry, medical. We didn't check medical or work comp, but that does make me think that part of tonight is also work comp with MEM. That's who we've been with. Very comparable quote. Cyber, crime. Cyber's with a different company. I don't think they found anyone different. They did get a quote from Palomar, but they were checking to see if they could get a better quote. We do have the Palomar quote in here. And then crime and fine arts is not provided by NPR. So that is quoted in here as Travelers. But that's our recommendation as presented tonight in the table. I will say NPR, it is a change. But again, they focus on public entities. There are a lot of cities in Kansas City area. I believe some of us on staff have had experience with NPR. Their loss control is different. They know what it's like to work with fire departments, police departments, public works. And it's an impressive program. Firsthand, they come out. But I feel like I'm rambling. Actually open it up to questions if...
This annual savings of $81,000, I believe, was what I saw in the memo.
Correct. So another thing of note, NPR is on a July 1 renewal as part of their program. So our first premium is 9 months. Now we did compare the annual cost though, and the annual cost is it was 160. I think I'm looking at Crystal. We were in there. But it's lower than Travelers and everything. But this first go-around will be a 9-month premium. Our first payment, the $577,840. But it also means that we'll come back in May or June to get on the annual cycle with their fiscal year. So while...
We'll have a portion in each budget, which is fine.
Correct. We'll still have 3 months, a full 12 months in fiscal year 26. It's just off some. It's kind of like our medical insurance. It's 3 months behind our fiscal year. This will be 3 months ahead of our fiscal year. So budget-wise, it'll be split.
It's the carousel of insurance.
Correct.
Yeah. Any questions? Councilmember Fitzgerald.
NPR doesn't have a umbrella line item, or is it like a similar aggregate coverage limits with the umbrella policies on the other quotes for no umbrella on
Yeah.
NPR?
This is one of, are you talking about, where am I at?
I think it's on the last page of that attachment, but like, Travelers has a premium for umbrella. NPR just says NA, so I just wanted to make sure we weren't going to have, less coverage.
Correct. No, it's all in there.
Okay.
Just like where we show the 4 lines that are included in the general liability. But yeah, NPR's is all structured differently, but we'll have the same coverages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Further questions? Do we, this one is just consideration. The next one is what we want to do.
Right. This would be, we'd ask for a motion to award the bids as presented.
I got it.
Okay. Then the following is a resolution.
To join NPR.
Requesting membership into NPR.
Okay. So do we have a motion on item 19?
Is it just a motion to approve?
Yep.
Yeah,
As presented.
move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 20.
Consideration of a resolution approving membership to Midwest Public Risk. Resolution number 25-069.
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 21.
Approving accounts due and payable by the city through September 19th, 2025. Bill number 7938, ordinance number 9735.
So this is 7938.
Yes.
I move that bill number 7938 be
Oop.
placed on,
First
first reading, sorry. First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I was so eager.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through September 19th, 2025.
I move that bill number 7938 be placed on second and final reading and passed as ordinance number 9735.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember McGrone?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Salinas?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through September 19th, 2025.
Staff comments. What do we got?
All right. I think in my head, I think Kim has a comment tonight, and then we've got the department reports, and some of them might have a comment as they're going through.
I'll keep mine brief. Just a note that the Citizens Academy, the new fall cohort, starts next week. We look forward to meeting everybody.
All right.
So I just wanted to bring to attention some highlights from our police department transparency report for the month of August.
Justin, can you speak in the mic a little bit? It's not picking you up.
Better?
Maybe.
Lights on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Better. That's better.
I want to get too close to it.
There you go.
So some items of note from our August transparency report from the police department. We had Jacob Winger begin his employment with the North Kansas City Police Department as a police officer cadet, and he'll be attending the police academy. Arlie Vasquez Nunez started her employment as our new parking control officer this past month. For the month of August, calls for service regarding incidents of individuals trespassing constitute our highest calls for service. So that was at 128. That was followed by crimes of theft. We're second highest at 85 for the month. And then our communications officers received a total of 3,116 calls. I just wanted to highlight that. It seems like a very high number of calls. Of those, 2,229 were non-emergency calls and 887 were 911 calls. So our dispatchers do a very good job.
How many are cat related?
How many are cat related?
Yeah.
Probably more than we would like.
Well, yeah. Okay, just making.
And then lastly, the trial of the individual accused of killing Officer Daniel Vasquez will begin on Monday at the James S. Rooney Justice Center in Liberty. So city will be in the news again.
Councilmember Saper.
I know this is the monthly report, but are you seeing any trends over the last 6 months that would indicate any changes that are going on in our city?
Any changes?
Yes, like speaking into the microphone. Yes, I will do that.
That would certainly be a change.
I would say for the last several months, our police officers, it's been a very high number of call of trespassings and stealings. We see a lot of stealing incidents along the Armour Corridor and Burlington corridors.
I guess I asked that question because Kansas City seems to be experiencing some trends that are not good for them.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if there's been any spillover to us.
I couldn't attribute anything directly related to Kansas City.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say we've seen a spike in anything abnormal, not anything that's outside of what we're used to seeing.
Okay, thank you.
Are you seeing more of the trespassing in the commercial or the residential area, or do you have that split?
It's commercial area mostly.
Mostly commercial?
Are you,
Go ahead.
are you still having a problem finding a place to house people after they are arrested, or is it getting better? A place to house?
To house our
Det-
prisoners?
detention.
Yes.
Detention centers, yeah. Clay County Detention Center is still closed to municipalities. So we're
At
currently-
one time, they weren't accepting or didn't have enough staff to cover, so I didn't know if situation was getting better or about the same. No.
It hasn't gotten better at all. They still haven't opened to municipalities, and so there's not a municipality north of the river that I'm aware of that's been able to house there. So we're looking at other options.
Is that causing us to release people, you think, quicker than we would like to?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Cost is through the roof too, because we have an arrangement with Ray County, is it? Or where's the, not Ray?
We previously had an arrangement with Clinton County Sheriff's Office, but that contract is
rolled
no
off.
longer in effect.
So what, we just have our spots here and that's it? Like
Correct. We have our holding cells here, and then after a short period of time, we will release.
Goodness. All right. Less than ideal.
Mayor and council, good evening. I'll start with, I want to highlight the October, the first week in October, October 5th, starting October 5th is Fire Prevention Month. So I want to cover one of the things we haven't covered in the past is the number of inspections that we do monthly and yearly. Those inspections include certificates of occupancies, fire alarm acceptance, food truck inspections, and then what we call our annual priority 1, 2, and 3 buildings. We have one fire inspector. He does approximately 65 to 75 inspections a month. He averages somewhere in the neighborhood of 375 a year. Those are original inspections. They do not include his follow-up inspections when they don't pass. So I wanted to highlight that. We have a new administrative assistant, Jennifer Parrott, started September 2nd. One of the other things I wanted to highlight that our partnership with the Clay County Health Department and putting Narcan at the library has been going over very well, almost too well. Can't keep up with keeping it stocked. So wanted to let you know that. That's about it. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right. Good evening again. Two things real quick. One is the Safe Streets for All. That is the North Kansas City's comprehensive safety action plan. It has a landing page that you can retrieve it through ComDev's website. And also on the landing page, there is an input mat that is asking for everybody for your comments. We have the link fixed if you experienced any broken link before. We just got it down this morning. And also we have an open house that's coming up on October the 20th, which is a Monday. I try to strategically avoid the Halloween trick-or-treat time. So please, there's no excuse not to show up at the Y on Monday, October 20th, 5 to 7 at the Y. We'll have swags, good swags. That's it for me.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Department Report for Public Works has a few updates on some of the ongoing projects and construction projects we have going on. Just two things I wanted to highlight real quick. City Hall parking lot will be closed Thursday this week. We are resurfacing it. And then it will be technically open Friday, but then Saturday it'll be closed again. This is an update from what's in the packet. The contractor pushed back from the rain and is going to have to stagger that a little bit. So we'll be tearing the surface off on Thursday. Friday it'll be open and just will be kind of a unstriped free-for-all. And then Saturday they'll be in here to mill, and then Monday morning should be back open. Other than that, the other thing I want to highlight was October 14th. We're going to hold an open house here in these chambers for our source water protection plan. We're targeting right now 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, trying to capture businesses during the day that want to show up because this affects both businesses and residents, and then into the evening hours so that people after work can come stop by.
Quick question for you. As leaves are starting to fall, just for clarity's sake, where should people be raking those leaves, and when do we start running that vac truck around?
We haven't started. We kind of try to time it with the season. Yep. Leaves haven't really started falling too much yet. Usually it is kind of more around the end of October or mid to end of October that Dwayne starts doing it. Definitely not in the sidewalk. We like to communicate, please do not rake leaves and pile them in the middle of the sidewalk. If you have a utility strip grass area between the sidewalk and the curb, put it there. If not, you can put it just behind the sidewalk. And usually if that that sidewalk is curb walk, which is where the sidewalk is right against the back of the curb, the leaf machine can reach over to it.
But definitely not over the curb.
Not over the curb, not in the curb, not over the sidewalk.
If you're watching, do not rake the leaves over the curb because they clog our storm sewers.
That's exactly why we do the program. A lot of people think it's
nice.
Nice for the residents, but it has a lot to do with keeping the storm drains clear.
It's also nice.
It is nice.
Yeah. Very good.
So for finance, September is the last month of the fiscal year. So in addition to, we adopted the budget earlier this month, we have that all loaded and ready to go for next year. We've also been doing a lot of prep for our regular audit. We anticipate having 3 audits going on concurrently. Police and fire pension, which we try to do every other year. And that is mostly done through the Police and Fire Pension Board, and they pay for that, but Casey and I have a lot to do with that audit as well. And we're looking at having our first single audit since our grant expenditures have exceeded $1 million. So we've talked a little bit with our audit team about what that's going to look like. We have 9 months from the end of the fiscal year to get that one done. Our regular audit, we have 6 months. So I feel really good about the prep that we've done for that. Outside of that, we have updated our payment portal for business licenses. So starting with this renewal season, you will be able to pay online. We tested that out this last week, and we're going to go live later this week. So we're very excited about that and looking forward to continued improvements for that process.
Thank you. Further staff comments? Tom, Crystal? No? Casey? All right. Thank you all for those reports. Moving on to council member comments, and we start tonight with Council Member Saber.
Question for Public Works, actually. You referred to the strip of land between the street and the sidewalk. What do you officially call it? I've always referred to it as the tree lot. What do we call it here?
There's all kinds of names for it. Utility strip, because that's where
Utility
they used to target
strip.
putting utilities. There's the parkway. Sometimes it's called on boulevards. It can be called the amenity zone when you have street furniture with benches and bike racks and things like that. There's all kinds of names for it. Just it's inside the right-of-way, city right-of-way, and just adjacent to the street. Yeah.
Okay, I've heard all kinds of names. I didn't know what we were using. A variety, apparently. To all of those celebrating Rosh Hashanah, Happy New Year, Lashana Tova.
Councilmember Bailey.
I'd just like to thank people coming out for public comment. We appreciate your voices. You give us insight into things that we may not know about. Particular, Dylan is still here. Got to speak with him, even though he didn't present at public comments, that he did have someone from the committee speak up. Certainly, we are continuing to look for the best option for transportation. We hear you. Not a lot of good options out there, but we are listening.
Councilmember McGrone.
I too want to thank everybody who came out to talk tonight. I love that there are people who are passionate about issues and ideas that affect our community, myself included. And I also am personally committed to maintaining as much public transportation connectivity to as much of the Kansas City metro as possible. I think that is one of the hallmarks of a healthy community, is allowing its residents to move around as much as possible. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the new North Kansas City basketball court has a grand opening ceremony on Thursday, October 2nd at 11:30 a.m. So if you are interested in going and check it out, please do. It is going to be really cool.
The second? I'm out of town. Dang. I was gonna go hoop it up on some people. Councilmember Fitzgerald.
I'll just echo the comments. Thank you to everyone that comes out to speak at the council meetings or reaches out by email or however ways. Input is always appreciated. And kind of borderline random question, but I saw the YMCA invoice was attached. It looks like it's getting a lot of usage, which is a good thing. But I do remember when we passed increasing the resident share paid by the city. We talked about getting some data on non-usage.
Yes, that I wanted to comment tonight. I thank you for saying that, because I've received the data from them. I think what you're talking about, the members of the usage report. So I have 6 months, February through July, I believe, inclusive on both ends, that shows every single member during that time and the usage. My plan is to bring it on the 7th. I got it from them. I've got it rough, but I wasn't going to have it ready for tonight for you all, without having to dig into it really hard. So that's the plan, is for the 7th for that to come
You were a
back.
step ahead of me getting it, so.
Well, thank you, though, for mentioning that, because I meant to.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Yeah, pretty much just the same that everyone else has said tonight. I did want to comment. I do think that's a great idea. I think it was Lisa. I didn't catch her last name. But the neighbors helping neighbors, I think that's a great idea. We have a lot of older residents in the neighborhood, and so I'm encouraged about that program. Also, I want to thank Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life, also known as Tim Dolan. I feel the same way about living here in North Kansas City. It's a great place to be. So other than that, pretty much everything else that's been said. So thanks.
Councilmember Salinas.
I just had a question also for Anthony. Is there fees for, maybe it's not the time, but for people or companies blowing their grass clippings or leaves into this water sewer?
That's highly discouraged, yeah.
I know, but is there,
Yeah, as I
there's
say, it is
fees for
against.
that? Like a fine?
There is a
Correct.
code violation
Okay,
component
so
to
you
it.
do fine, okay. Also, just wanted to also, what everybody said, thanks for coming out. And a reminder to just lock your doors, your car doors at night. Just, it's a good habit just to hit your lock button. Also garage doors, let's, the neighbors helping neighbors. It's good for, us to keep an eye on for each other, make sure that we do close our garage doors as well. Just basically, that's it for me.
Very good. That brings it back around to me. I am encouraged to see a number of block parties have been happening. People are taking advantage of the $400. Again, looking at you right there in the camera, $400, throw a party with your friends. Please do more of those. 23rd Avenue is dominating the space right now. There's been a few. George, you're going to need to have one on the 800 block. But it's good. People get out there. I'm always surprised at how few people start, and then how many people are like, what the heck's going on? They just come out and they start talking and they start getting to know each other, and it's people that I recognize from social media, the names when they introduce themselves, and I'm like, you're really mean on social media, but you're super nice right here. Like, why is that? And I think it's just hard to have an argument over a burger and a plate of macaroni salad. So take advantage of these grants, get to know your neighbors. It's really, really a great thing that people are starting to do. And then the YMCA usage report, I did see the rough data, and it's going to need, there'll be a discussion on the 7th, but we're at this point paying a lot of money for people, myself included, unfortunately, who aren't using the facility that often. And wherever we land on that, it's something that once the data comes out, take a good look at the usage. It's a little over 10 grand a month that we're putting into it, just from the city side. And then we're also having people who are signing up, taking the 50% side from the city, but also spending their own money and not going. So something to look at as we go forward with that one. That is all from me. Enjoy the fall. And we're moving on to item 25.
Consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the city administrator to be held on this date pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes, Section 610.0212, Real Estate Matters, and Section 610.0213, Personnel Matter. Real estate matter, personnel matter.
Do we have a motion?
Motion, first motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember McGrone?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilmember Salinas?
Yes.
At this point, the feed will cut out and there will be no further business, no more votes taken. Thank you all for tuning in.